Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our seminar, our EEZ seminar on pivoting for profit. It's an EEZ outreach panel. As many of you are aware, we do panel discussions, seminars, and other events throughout the year. And we thought it's time that we actually start to focus a little bit more on some of the issues and challenges within the EEZs. So today we are now focused on some of the key concerns, obviously surrounding COVID-19. You know, for many of us, this has been a huge setback, something that no one could have ever anticipated, and therefore, you know, we're now adapting. So what we've done today is put together a panel of some really great business owners who operate in the Zoom, and we're going to speak to them about how they're adapting and how they're making out. Hopefully, some of those lessons that they've been going through will be things that you can incorporate in your own business. Okay, so if we can go to the next slide. So today we're just going to do a very, simple program. It's basically going to include some intros of the panel. We're going to have some overview on some of the BDC products and services that we offer. I'll also provide a demo of the EEZ COVID microloan. We're going to speak to the panel some more. We also have Joyce Hayward, who is amongst the panelists, that's also going to speak to you about some of the key concerns regarding starting your business or pivoting, if you will, from an accountant's perspective. Next slide. So if we can, I don't see him as of yet. James, are you here? I know we had him on the mic. So he's having audio troubles. We'll try to get him sorted out. We have James Harvey of H2O Water Sports, who are located up in Somerset. We have Astoria Smith, I Love Lacquered, great new business that's opened up in St. George's. Preston Ephraim of OM Juiceries, makes that great juice there on just off Court Street. And then we have Joyce Hayward, as I mentioned earlier, from Fusion for Bermuda. Fusion for Business. Let me get that right. We also have a few of our officers on hand today. Dante Hunt, who is the EEZ officer for Northeast Hamilton. And we have Dennis Carter, who is the EEZ officer for St. George's. So basically, without further ado, we're going to get right into it and speak to a little bit about some of the products and services that BDC offer. So Dennis, would you give us a little update on some of those things, please?
Perfect. So good morning, everybody. So within the EEZ, we do have a lot of different benefits. We have 3 different economic empowerment zones across the island. Of course, St. George's, Northeast Hamilton, and Somerset. And doing business in those zones is very beneficial. So some of the different products that we have, which I'm sure everybody can see right now, is firstly our microloans, which we can offer direct microloans up to now $30,000 at an interest rate of 3%, which we can spread out over 42 months. So that's really some of the cheapest money you could get right now to either start your business or grow your business. As well as we also have our COVID-19 relief microloan, which can assist with any bills. That's not for capital items, that's more for any utilities, rent, payroll, for those sorts of things. Also, all of our loan guarantees, which we can guarantee up to 75% of an agreed loan, up to the maximum of $300,000. That goes through the banks as of right now. And then our payroll tax relief within the economic empowerment zones. Where this is a real benefit is that the employer portion of the payroll tax is actually taxed at 0%. For up to 9 tax periods. So that's just over 2 years. Outside the economic empowerment zone, you can apply, but that's just up for 1 year. So especially right now, that definitely goes a long way. I know I'll be working with Astoria to get her started and get that going with her. And then also our EEZ duty relief. So anything, if it is any sort of retail items, you can actually have deferred for up to 5 years, which is definitely beneficial in helping with cash flow, and definitely helping to just to not have that upfront cost of having to pay all the duty out when you first bring in your products. Some other things that we're doing in especially all the EEZs, I think St. George's will be the first one, is we have our incubator program, which we're looking to house about 6 different new businesses. So if it's anyone that's looking to start a business, especially in St. George's over the coming year, definitely send me a message. But also we'll be looking to have different incubators throughout each zone across the island, all serving a different purpose. And I believe I've just gone through all of them, trying to make it quick. So I know I won't be able to answer everything right now, but just send a message to the chat. So if you do have any questions on any of the other products, just send me a message on the chat, and then I will answer it back to you.
Thank you for that, Dennis.
No worries.
Great job. Dante, be great to see how this new microloan product is working out. We've been obviously offering relief for those who are affected by COVID-19, and you know, it is one that is a really good product, but it comes with some concerns. So, you know, to help walk you through it, Dante has prepared a presentation that will help those that are well familiar with some of the processes to make a little bit better sense of it.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope everybody's doing good considering these crazy times. So let's jump right in. The COVID-19 microloan and grant, and this product is structured for business continuity. Those businesses that are existing that have been affected by COVID-19, and it's affected your revenue streams, and as such, you can't pay your expenses. So we crafted this with the microloan and a portion which is grant, 50%. So if you're looking for, if you fall within a certain band, and we can get to that at some point, but this is just an overview. If you fall within a particular band and you can get, say, for instance, 30,000, then 15,000 is the loan, and then 15,000 is the grant. Let's get stuck in. First thing, there's a checklist that comes along with that. Second, I'm going to pull out the cash flow projection out of that checklist. The reason why is because we have, you know, many persons have an issue, you know, with the cash flow projection, and so I'm just going to go through that as well. And I'm going to do some demos in terms of what the P&I, principal and interest, would be with different loan grant amounts. And if I have enough time, I'm going to look at the business profile, which is a part of that checklist. Okie doke. If you have any questions, shoot them out in the chat. First things first, personal financial statement. That is a Excel spreadsheet that we send to you. It includes your personal income statement and your personal balance sheet. It's just 2 one-pagers. You plug in the numbers, and off we go. Next, we have bank statements. We're looking for 3 months of bank statements. Secondly, and again, we have tried to make this process as easy as possible, bearing in mind that we are dealing with taxpayers' funds. So we want to ensure that you know, it's easy. Plus at the same token, we're getting the necessary information. So on to the financial information, cash flow statement. This can be a challenge for some. Go down the bullet points. We require 6 months of financial information. That's historical information for companies that are less than 12 months old. For those 12 months in order. We require 1 year of financial information, and that could be the cash flow statement, income statement. Those two gives us a sense of sort of historical data and how well you're doing, or how you're performing. I shouldn't say well. As entrepreneurs, we ebb and flow, but it just gives us a sense of what's going on. And then we also require the 12-month cash flow projection, which I'm going to show a little later. And it's always weird doing these things. I always look at people when I do presentations and see if everybody's fine, but I can't do that. So write a chat if I'm going too fast or you have a question. Use of funds, that's a detailed list of all the things that you need to pay. Sometimes I get applications and I just need $20,000. So I then have to reach out to find out, okay, how is that broken down, with amounts. The business plan / business profile. So we provide a business profile template to make it very easy for you guys. And that business profile template it's got questions that you just answer. It's not like a business plan as such. It's more of a question and answer situation. So it takes all the scary stuff out of writing a business plan. For some. Next, the location of business. If you have a physical business, we then need a lease of sorts. Payroll tax, social insurance. We require similar things. We want to know that you're up to date. I know many business owners are not up to date. Things happen. So we also want to know if things have happened. Do you have a payment plan with pension and social? And lastly, for both, we want to know, have you reached out to payroll tax and to social insurance to see if you can get some sort of relief, deferral, waiver? We have heard of some plans that they have. I know they do, but we haven't had full confirmation. So we suggest that you reach out to them to get the latest information of how you can be supported in your business. Pension, reach out to pension as well. Pension, I believe, is offering a reduction from 5% from employee and employer to 2%. That should be still going, but as you understand, again, with the other departments, we are separate, so we get information from them, but they have the latest. So we would suggest that you reach out to them as well. And the unemployment benefit. Everybody needs to, if you've been affected by COVID-19, you can't pay salaries. Government has initiated the unemployment benefit. We want to know that you've done this. And the reason why we want to know that you've reached out to these various departments is so that the funds, the taxpayers' funds, can be used most effectively. Okay, so you know, and I think you get what I mean when I say that. If you don't, again, put something in the chat. Business and personal references. That's all a part of the actual application, which is next. Obviously, there's an application, so we want to know just the name and contact details of your business and personal reference. Somebody's got the mic on, naughty. Then we have the identification. That's just an ID. Application fee. The application fee has been slashed because of COVID-19 from by 50%. So there you go. There you have it. You see it on the screen. Those are the fees today. So it's $75 or 0.75% of the direct loan grant, whichever is greater. We do a credit check. I'm cognizant of time, guys. How am I doing? I'm probably going really slow, but I'm trying to go fast. Approval process. We're looking at 10 business days from a completed application. That's key. It's got to be completed. Sometimes we get them in, and well, many times we get it in, and we've got to reach back out to you to get some information, clarification, and probably some additional stuff. So once we have all that, it's 10 business days. Disbursement of funds is over 3 tranches. So you get one, say 50% at the outset, then 35%, and then the residual. and that's over a 3-month period or something that's negotiated between yourself and your officer. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to then go over to the cash flow projection. Good old cash flow projection. So this is it real quick. Can you guys can see my cursor, right? You see my cursor? Okay, so starting from the top, beginning cash balance. So everything in orange, you can manipulate. Everything else, don't worry about it. So in orange, what is the beginning cash flow? So somebody might have $200, so you put that in there. Then you come down to, this is the revenue side, this top bit here. And you see this monthly revenue, we've got 3 of them. You can have 4 of them, you can have 5 of them. They represent the revenue streams that you have. So if you sell air conditions and you also do service, you're gonna break those 2 out. You can say, here's my retail air condition sales and here's my service sales. If you have 7 main products, now, I mean, if you have a retail store, you have 100 products, then, you know, you're just gonna have one line for all your retail products. But logical separation of revenue streams is important. But at any rate, let's say, for instance, this was the revenue projection going forward for Dante Inc. And so I put that in. That's my projection. This loan proceeds side is saying, sorry, it shouldn't be like that. It should be. This is saying that you're receiving, in terms of money coming in from the BDC, $15,000 total. If you look over there, it's $15,000. The reason why it's 7, 5, 4, 5, and 3 is because to represent those tranches that I talked about. Okay, if it wasn't tranches, it would be just a smack 15K right there in month 1. Now we go down to expenses. I just put a couple expenses in here. So here, this is self-explanatory. Whatever I bet you know your money that's getting out of your pocket. So you just pop that bad boy in there. With the loan proceeds, startup expenses, this is then utilizing the money that you just got from the BDC. You're just saying when you're going to utilize it, because you might not utilize it all at once. Well, you certainly can't, because you're getting, you know, it in tranches. But you could, however you're going to divvy it up, you know, you just pop it in here, right? Boom. Probably going to be something like that. Oops. All right. Any questions? Let me know. See, financials are not that scary. People think they are, but it's just straightforward in my mind. And we can guide you a bit, but this is it. At the end here, this is the 2 big key components, right? This is going to tell you how well or not your projections are in terms of performance, and things happen. So, but at any rate, this first one, net cash flow, that means how much money you actually have in the bank over a 12-month period. That's cash. Now, the profit and loss is, or the net profit and loss, that's basically saying how well you did, or sorry, that's saying your position at any 1 month. So in month 1, you made $1,120. In month 2, you made $3,000. But collectively, you will be at a position of $4,320 in the bank. Hope that makes sense. Let's go. I think I'm.
So Dante, just a quick question and cutting through the chase. If somebody gets a $15,000 loan, we offer that for as long as 42 months. Now, in our case, I know that we actually give the first 3 months of this product with no interest, and then the second 3 months it's just interest. So you don't actually start paying for until the 6th month, correct? Your mic. Mike, Dante.
Yeah, I was off and running, but so no sweat no. So if it's $15,000 you're requesting, the loan is what, $7,500, because you're getting $7,500 is grant. So I'll put that in there. 42 months is the period. Guys, we're looking at this, so don't worry about what I'm doing here. And we got 3 months interest only, and before that, we got 3 months no payment period. So what that's going to be is if we look here, you guys see my cursor? So you get those 3 months no payments at $0, and then we got 3 months at $21.88, and then we've got the P&I, principal and interest, kicking in 6 months later at $219.77.
So at the end of the day, if that person needs the funds, they would ultimately be paying $219 a month for a $15,000 BEDC COVID loan. While I know it's not, some people just wanted the grant component. For us, it was important to make sure that those businesses have a business case to make. And at the end of the day, we're hopeful that people will see the advantage of having a loan for what would be $219 in this case, versus not having that loan and struggling from month to month, because we know it's not easy, and the product is truly there to help and assist.
So real quick, before I move on, let's compare it to a traditional loan so you can see the value. So 15,000 again, they're not going to give you a grant. So I'm going to put 15,000. I'm going to say typically commercial banking 7.5, and that's being generous. And then I'm going to still say 42 months. I'm going to take away. They're not going to do no payment period. They look at you like you're crazy. And the interest only period. Well, let's throw that in there. Maybe they're being nice. So that 219 would have been otherwise 434. Plus the interest only would have went from 21 to 93. So that's the power and benefit of the microloan grant. And I'm done. I'll shut up.
Thank you, Dante. Very, very informative, and I think you've hopefully cleared up some questions for people. As he mentioned, if you have a question, you can put it in the Q&A in the chat. We're going to address questions in the end, but obviously in the interest of time, we're going to go to Joyce Hayward, who not only consults with BEDC, but operates her own business. And one of her pivot points is making sure that you keep profit first. So Joyce, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ray, Dennis, Dante. Okay, so what we're going to talk about just for a little bit is some P's to pivot. And basically that's looking at profit. And our firm deals with profit freedom, because we want you to have profit in your business so you can have freedom in your life and you don't have to worry about all the stuff that's going on with COVID-19 and things. So the next slide, those who were okay during this COVID time were people who had developed a plan. They were flexible. They had an emergency fund set up. Their business operated like a business. So their small business, even though it was a small business, operated like it was a big business with the same practices, principles, policies, procedures. All those P's have to be in place. So we wanted to talk about pivot a little bit today, because there could be a second wave and we all need to be ready, because if this, we don't know what could happen again. So we just want to make sure we're ready. So one of the first P's is to make profit a priority. The next slide, if you can, thanks. So we can't do things the same way we always did them. We can't say same old things, because as you see, it's the definition of insanity. If we think we can do things the same way, I think we're all a little, what planet are we on? Because things have changed. So we can't do things the same way. We have to make profit a priority. So for those who think they can't do it because you haven't in the past, I want you to change your thinking. Think about profit in everything you do. It must be a priority. I'm seeing too many businesses that don't know your numbers. Dante just said that, financials don't have to be scary. They really don't. And we could talk about that a little bit. But too many businesses that don't know their numbers, don't know their financials, don't know how to know what's going on in their business. That can't happen anymore. Even as he mentioned, you have to have financials now to know what's going on in order to apply for loans or grants. So we can't have the same old, same old. You have to make profit a priority. Go to the next slide. So the next P is planning for profit. You have to decide and make sure you are going to plan for your profit. And we work on something that's called Profit First, a program called Profit First. There's a book, actually, as you see there, called Profit First. And with that, a lot of people think of your sales and then your expenses, and what's left is your profit. want you to think differently. In order to make it in these times, you have to plan for profit. And so you have to decide that you are going to look at your sales, your profit, and then your expenses. So that means putting a percentage aside every month, whether you start at 1%, go to 2%, 3%, put aside some money every month for your profit, as well as you have to make sure that everything gets paid, that what's left over after your profit are your expenses. So meaning that your payroll tax, your pension, your social insurance, your health insurance, all those things that, as Dante mentioned, sometimes people don't have them all together. You have to plan to make sure that all that's taken care of, as well as being profitable. And that includes your own salary. And if you can go to the next slide, what often happens is, I don't know if during COVID-19 that we, sorry, I realized if you could hit enter again, there should be another picture that's showing on there of a toothpaste tube. I don't know if yeah, thank you. If you can hit again, next again, thanks. So we use what we have. So I don't know if anybody during the time of COVID ran out of toothpaste or ran out of something and it wasn't your grocery day. Well, when you run out of toothpaste, you squeeze that tube until you get every little bit out. I don't know if everybody's ever done that, where you squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and get that last little bit out because you don't have any toothpaste left and you can't get to the store. Well, we need to do that sometimes in our businesses. We do that in our lives, and sometimes we forget in our businesses, and we just spend money and we look at money like, well, I have to do this. Be innovative. This is the time that we have to pivot. And we have to look at things differently. We have to squeeze that toothpaste tube sometimes. Unless you just have it like that, you just have money to throw away, you need to be good and prudent with your money. Next slide. And so one of the next P's is planning your spending. So thanks. So looking at every single dollar that you have and planning for it. One of the things that we suggest is that you have some percentages set up as to knowing what it is that you need to spend, what you have to spend, how you're going to spend it. Looking at your money like a seed, like a lot of people are starting gardens right now and planting, and they're being very careful with the seeds that they're planting. That's what your money should be. You should be treating your money like it's precious. So you have to plan what you're spending and not just spend because something's on sale or you have it. Plan for your spending. So you can go to the next slide. And so with that means knowing with every single dollar that comes in, what you're going to do with it. Making sure you understand your percentages, knowing what your people cost you, what your margins are, your pricing. If you have just figured, I'm just going to bring something in and double it or triple it, you need to make sure you're understanding your margins. Because if you are paying off everything and don't have profit left, if you're not paying yourself, you're a charity. So we don't want you to be a charity. With my business, with accountants, BDC, we want your business to be able to be profitable. And as I mentioned, those businesses that made it were businesses that took part of their profit every single month and put it aside. They had what's called an emergency fund. A lot of us think about an emergency fund for our personal business. Do you think about an emergency fund for your business? So those big businesses and those small businesses that work with a profit first mentality, you can go to the next slide, tracked their money and their finances so that every single dollar was a portion. So best practice is the next P, using best practices to track your money and your finances. So putting your taxes aside, your payroll, if you have capital projects, your operations, which includes your pay. As the owner, you should be paying yourself. And of course, all of your people, and including, as I mentioned, social insurance, health insurance, payroll tax, pension, and I know some things are going to be waived for the next year, but all of those things have to be included in every single dollar you get. Your best practice is to make sure you have apportioned yourself so that everything gets taken care of and everything gets paid. So what we would suggest is, as profit is one of those, all of those jars, it's like back in the day, persons used to put money in jars. You can use separate bank accounts. You can use your accounting system. It doesn't have to be hard. You can make it easy, but to make sure that you are planning for your profit. You're tracking every dollar. You're planning your every dollar. You're tracking your finances and knowing what's going on with your numbers. You have to know, as the business owner. Yep, you should use professionals to help you to know what's going on in your business. But one of the keys is to make sure that you're putting some money aside, because if this ever happens again, those businesses that we talked to that are doing okay have put money aside so that they had, 2 or 3 months set aside to be able to take care of their expenses. You can go to the last slide. So the P's we talked about is making profit a priority, putting profit first, and planning your spending, which means knowing your numbers, using best practices, being ready. If there is a second wave, hopefully there won't be, but in any event, operate your small business like it's a big business and make sure you're putting profit first. You're paying yourself, you're paying all your business's expenses, and I wish you all very well. Again, BDC is there to help professionals like myself with Profit Freedom, our company Fusion for Business. Use the resources to help you help yourself, but make sure you pivot by using the P's. Thanks.
Thank you, Joyce. All very, very useful tips, and can't wait to see some of those questions that come up with putting profit first, because I certainly agree. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick. Sorry, go ahead, Dante.
I'm sorry, because I made a big boo-boo. I said 3.5%, and that was that is a rate, but that's not the rate for EEZ. People in the EEZ get 3%, so that 219 goes down to 203. Just wanted to say that.
203 for 15 grand over 42 months. That's even better. Obviously, this is not always a loan that we want to have. Nobody wants to learn, but again, you know, it's how to use that loan to best benefit your business. And as you implement some of the tools that Joyce has discussed in putting profit first, the idea is to get rid of that loan. If you can pay it back early, there's no penalty. So if you can get rid of that loan and get back to making profit, that's our goal. So thank you. But we're going to touch base now with each of our panelists. I'm just going to allow each one to introduce themselves. I had a quick question in there, and then we'll open it up to the floor. So at the moment, as I mentioned, we have Astoria Smith, who has her new business in St. George's. Now, I guess for Astoria, well, first tell us what you do, just real quick.
Sure. So I operate a business. It's called Lacquered Lounge, and I have a portion called Lacquered on Location. So that's mobile services. But I just opened up in January. It's a green beauty space, so everything is vegan, cruelty-free, biodegradable. All the products and services here. So manicures, pedicures, waxing, facials. All used with better products that are better for the environment and for the client.
So that's fantastic. Now, with yourself, obviously you started off as a mobile business, correct?
Mm-hmm. I did, yeah.
And then you went to brick and mortar. So you made the plunge, you stepped up, and then kablam, here comes COVID-19. So how have you fared throughout this period? Obviously, this was not in the cards when you decided to start paying rent. So how are you making out, and what are the changes that you've had to make?
So I think that staying really in touch with people on social media and my client base has been really helpful. I was able to, because I retail items, was able to set up an online shop. And so people were able to buy gift certificates for a time when I wasn't offering services. So they got those in advance. I was able to offer and sell retail items. So that really helped, but also creating a space on my social media where I'm constantly keeping in contact with people and staying at the forefront of their mind, so that when I did open back up, then people were aware that I was opening back up. They were aware of the services. They were aware of my business and what makes it different. So that really helped as well.
So the social media component's been big for you, and I guess you're learning more, and you're finding people are becoming more accustomed to using social media themselves, are they not?
Yes, there's definitely a difference in clientele based on what social media you use. So in age brackets, So I use both, and I try to be a little bit flexible in terms of using Instagram and Facebook and a mailing list of past clients and people who've signed up. So just keeping a constant information flow going, but also creating value with my Instagram and my Facebook. So I'm not only telling you about the services that I have or the products that I'm using, I also try to create a space where I'm telling you about if there's a certain product or if there's ingredients that you should look out for that are dangerous. I'm creating a space that I'm educating as well. So trying to create value there is beneficial, I think, because then you can make yourself a forerunner. You know, you make yourself more, okay, well, she knows what she's talking about and there's value in that business, so I'll go there.
Excellent. Last question. Are you happy you're in St. George's starting your business? What do you think?
Yeah, I did it on purpose. My family ran Carriage House for almost 30 years, and my grandmother owned Temptations in St. George's, right next to St. Peter's Church. So I opened in St. George's on purpose because I felt like if there's anywhere where I wanted to put time and energy and create a creative space or a space that's going to be profitable, I wanted to do it in St. George's because I think that people decide to go elsewhere and then you leave the space barren, right? There's no investment. So I wanted to take my time and my energy and my money and put it in St. George's. So I was very intentional.
Very good. Thanks for that. I know James has been having challenges getting on. Is he there? I'm looking for him. James, are you on board? I know he's having some challenges getting online. There he is. Hey there, James. You got to turn your mic on. Can you hear me now? The mic is the little guy with the up in the corner.
Sorry, Jay.
There's I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
There you go. There you go. All right. So,
All right.
so James, I brought you in next because of this group. You're the old school guy. You've been
I'm
doing
the
this
old school. Oh man, don't tell everybody.
You're not the young buck anymore, James. I hate to tell you that, but in saying that, you've been in water sports for quite a few years, and you know you have a great business going there up at Cambridge Beaches with H2O Water Sports. And here you are, summertime's approaching, and kablam! Here comes COVID-19.
Yeah.
How did you deal with this? What was on your mind as this approached, and how have you been handling it?
Well, I tell you, I think Bermuda, because the way our season works compared to the rest of the Caribbean, it couldn't have been a worse time for us because it's almost like the winter that hasn't ended and may not end for a little while. So yeah, very scary. Biggest scare was just uncertainty, not knowing what's next, how long this is gonna last, is it gonna come back? I mean, we're not even really out of this yet. And I think it was Joyce talking about a second wave, and those are scary thoughts. So yeah, you got to be on your P's and Q's, and you got to make some money real quick in case this does happen again. And yeah, fortunately, you know, Bermudians love the water just as much as our visitors. And outside of jet skis, we've really been doing quite well considering the circumstances. We're open every day, weather permitting. We're renting every day. So fingers crossed. But the further we get into the summer, the better each week seems to get.
That's great. Now let me ask you this, because I know we had a conversation early in the season where you know you're not doing your online. I believe your wife is more involved in the online part, but as a business, how does that help you? I know you had some people who were expecting to come down on vacation, and in some cases, instead of giving money back, they actually booked for next year. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, we've been doing our online reservations for I don't know, about 4 years now. So that wasn't, we didn't really have to transition into that. Where it really hurt us originally was that we had a lot of pre-reservations for the summer, even for next summer. And, all of that had to be refunded, etc. So that was an unexpected sort of outflow of cash at the wrong time. But the online reservation system that we have it's been a huge difference to our business. Without it, we couldn't even really run it properly. Makes the whole operation a lot more efficient. And we do have reservations coming through for October, November, December this year from visitors planning ahead. I'm sure some of them there are probably being a little bit over optimistic. I mean, some of them are booking cruises still to Bermuda. I feel less confident on the cruise business right now. But a lot have actually changed their reservations from 2020 to 2021 instead of going for a refund, which is pretty good for Bermuda's future, put it that way.
That's great. So and it sounds as though you've also had to streamline your staffing, some of the things that everything, huh?
Yeah. I would strongly recommend anybody running a small business as many trades that you can do yourself without having to hire folks to run your business will definitely make life a lot easier. So yeah, I'm pretty much a one-man show right now, and I've even had to sort of, do some minor renovations here and there to make it easier to run the operation with one person versus having a staff of 3 or 4. And yeah, each day is a new learning experience. So we have to abide by the social distancing regulations, which is very, new to everybody. And it's interesting seeing how the guests or your customers are adhering to it or expect it or insulted by it. And, it's a whole range of reactions we're getting. So, yeah, interesting stuff, crazy times, but interesting stuff.
No, good stuff. Well, you guys sound like you're doing what you need to do to
Yeah.
stay in the game, and that's important. So thank you for that.
So as long as the sun keeps shining, I should still be here, Ray.
Keep that sun shining. Summertime just officially started last week, right? So let's hope for a long, healthy season. And some of those people, as you mentioned, who may not be working full time, go out and take advantage of some of the opportunity to go catch a fish or go catch a tan or relax their head. And I think that's important to our next speaker, because Preston Ephraim of OM Juiceries, his big thing in the pivot is making sure that you as a business owner are mentally prepared and mentally able to deal with some of the challenges that come toward you. So speak to me a little bit about that, Preston. Where's your head in this?
Oh my goodness. I want to say thank you for having me on, and thank you for all the listeners that are participating in this beautiful forum this morning and taking the time out of your day. Actually, I want to hit a few points. I think one of the first things, because it's just so interesting, one of the first things is fear and anxiety. Fear and anxiety. Then we're going to go more into like the effects of fear, the emotional side of social distancing, which I think James just kind of brought up, because I hugged a woman who hadn't been hugged in 2 months, 2 to 3 months, and she cried. And she cried. It's a whole pile of things that are happening to people right now in their psyche that's not being discussed. And the only thing that's, I think sometimes is being discussed is, well, business, but people have children, people are used to seeing faces, especially as Bermudians and being in such a close-knit community where we're used to holding hands and having fun and playing. And then something comes down and says, well, we can't play and we can't hold hands and I can't even see a face anymore. That's something that I think has really disrupted the psyche. And then we're going to go into a business as an extension of being. So let's just start with fear. And I'm just going to keep this really succinct. So when we're in this fear state, or not knowing what to do, it actually weakens our immunity. it weakens our immunity, and it can cause cardiovascular issues, and it can cause gastrointestinal issues such as IBS or ulcers. You know, just being in a state of fear or panic, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So that's something that we want to look at right there and say, okay, how am I feeling this day? How is my being this day? And what can I do to begin to turn that around? Should I go on a walk? You know, maybe not go into the business right now. You know, the business is, maybe I need to take an hour right now for myself. Maybe I need to go pick some flowers. And you may say, well, Preston, this may sound a little poofy, you know, but you really want to line yourself up to something that allows your heart and allows your mind to be in a space that's clear and that is space that's joyful. It is so important right now. I'm telling you, if you keep your being and your immunity high, nothing can come to you. And I really mean that. It's like, it's really difficult for someone to be unwell when they're happy. All right. I want to move again. We also kind of talked about the emotional side of social distancing, where again, I hugged a woman that came in and she literally just broke down in tears. And it was a very, very powerful moment for me. Now, I think also in the relationship of business, I've always felt like business is an extension of being. You know, it's just an extension of, I really feel it's just an extension of beingness and how you are. So if you're feeling good, the business is going to feel good, and people are going to be magnetized to that. They're gonna feel it coming through the pages of the website. They're gonna feel it when they come through your door. They're gonna feel it when they interact with you, when they interact with your employees, if you do have them. You know, they're gonna feel it because you're radiating and you're locking down in on something that I think is very scarce right now, which is happiness.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Preston. And then not to mention, you drink some of that natural juice, and it would actually make you feel good inside because
Yeah,
it's all natural, right? Get the plug in, man.
Yes. So the juices, and even with the juices in this, I was going to go into now what to do. Thank you, Ray. Go into what to do. So you want to increase. I would even say start a meditation practice, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes in the morning. Wake up and have a practice, a meditation practice, or go for a 5 or 10 minute walk. The next thing is you want to go into or increase more of a whole food diet. So plant-based vegetables, plant-based items. The next thing you want to do is, and I'm going to say it, you want to remove stimulants such as alcohol, Red Bulls, anything that's cooked in microwaves. You want to remove that out of your diet because that actually lowers your immunity, and it actually supports fear and anxiety driven energies. All right. And then you want to increase again things that cultivate happiness, watching comedy shows, going out for walks, hanging out with friends and family, mending relationships that have been tarnished. All right, so all these things you want to begin to look at while we have this period of context to move through and move with.
Excellent stuff. And you know, I think that the panel that we have kind of touched on all those things, right? Because many of us are small businesses where it's just you. And if you're sick, then really what happens to the business? So keeping your health up is an important component that can't be left out. You know, you got to have profit, but in order to get profit, you have to be healthy and be able to be present. So thank you for that. I know our time is really short, and we want to open it up to any of the audience that have any questions. Dante, I assume you're still there somewhere. Have you guys any questions that have come through? If so, now's the time.
Yeah, so I have a few questions. I'll start with the first one. I'm not sure if anybody does. I'm personally not really on there. But how do you guys feel about using TikTok nowadays? And this is a question from one of the audience members. How do you guys feel about using TikTok for advertising opportunities alongside, in addition to Instagram and Facebook and stuff? And anyone can answer if you've used it or haven't used it.
I can speak to that. I think the Instagram and Facebook are the most streamlined and easiest. Like I will plan out, I have a planning app where I'll plan out things. Things like TikTok and even Twitter take a lot more engagement. And so I haven't really gotten into those ones. Although I think if you have the time and the effort and the patience to get behind and create the content, it's an awesome way to connect, especially like I said, because there's different age groups that are using certain apps. And so if you can connect with that audience, I think it's beneficial. It's just all about having the time and being able to put forth the effort, especially being someone who owns a business. And for me, I operate my business as well. So I'm doing services and answering the phone and booking clients and all of that. So I don't have the time in order to just connect and do that in addition to what I'm already doing. But I think if you can do it, then it's certainly something that you can connect with that audience on.
Great.
And I could just add quickly that if you have the funds, a virtual assistant marketing team can help with those kinds of things as well. Like Astoria mentioned, if you have a marketing plan, and it really depends on who your audience is, as she said, because a lot of younger people are on TikTok. It can be great. There's really some good stuff out there, but you have to decide if it's cost beneficial for you. And if you don't have the time, you have to work in your business and on your business. But if you don't have the time and do have the funds in your marketing budget, that's where a marketing team can help with that kind of thing too.
Perfect. And I would definitely agree with that. I think there's definitely an opportunity there to really maximize on that opportunity. And I have a couple questions, so I'm gonna try and get through them real fast. In addition to QuickBooks, are there any other sorts of software packages that you guys use to help with your accounting, or do you manage it sort of on your own using Excel, or I'm not sure if everybody uses QuickBooks or doesn't use QuickBooks, but is there anything that you do use that could be beneficial for the people that are listening? And that's for anybody.
Well, myself, am I there? Myself came up through using QuickBooks, but QuickBooks made a lot of changes over the years, and I actually found it easier putting together Excel for the way my business is set up more recently. So I sort of use QuickBooks indirectly, but I've gone to Excel or back to Excel myself anyway.
But one thing, well, I'm not on the panel, but I want to appear. One thing I can say about QuickBooks is while it does have, a certain learning curve, at the BEDC, we offer a QuickBooks course, an 8-week course, which is absolutely phenomenal. So by the time you leave, it's not just practical, it's some theory in there. You leave as a guru. So that's a plus side for QuickBooks.
I use a program called Wave. It's a free online program. So it doesn't have an app, but you can log into it on your computer or device. And it's a kind of .com platform that's free. And because it's just me, it's really easy to use. So that's an option if someone's looking and doesn't really want to invest in QuickBooks, but just needs something simple.
And there's a list of things: Wave, ZipBooks, AK, Altine, SlickPy, Zoho, CloudBooks. There's a lot of things you can look online for. As an accountant, I would say something that you can use, and if once you grow, that can move into something else, because you just have to be careful with your information. If because definitely you can start with free, but you want to make sure that that's the foundation of your business. You need to be able to run all the reports that you need and get the information you need, and then let it grow with you. So it really depends on the type of business you have. If you're service-based or product-based is a little bit more complex, and you have to make sure, I'm not sure how you're finding with your inventory and tracking all of your costs and bringing that together with your cost of goods sold and all those kinds of things. So a point of sale system that can tie into that. So So if Wave does that, that's great. And so that's the main thing, is to make sure you have information that you can track and that give you the reports that you need to make good decisions.
Perfect, and I think it's all very important. And I have one last question that plays kind of into exactly what Preston was saying about making changes in regards to sort of exercise, mindset, but also have any of you kind of taken up new educational things over the quieter months and really learning new skills? And if you have, how did you find that balance of just the situation and then using that time to kind of move forward personally to help pivot with the business?
I think it was a great time to plan. I'm a planner anyways. I'm not so much reactionary. I like to plan. And so I took additional courses on waxing for me. So I'm launching body waxing in July. I took additional courses on, waxing, on facials, and I'm starting to build a skincare line. So I just took that time to kind of plan and really work on, because I'm so new, making sure that I'm building on brand awareness. So that gave me a perfect opportunity because, like I said, I'm operating and I'm the business side of it. So it gave me the perfect break to kind of be able to build on the operation side, and where things were not where they needed to be, it gave me time.
And I'll say that squeezing the toothpaste tube, I'll say good for you, Astoria, because that's, and James mentioned, and Preston, everybody, that, you have to use what you have and squeezing it out to do the things you need to do. There's a lot of things online that have been offered, and you do have to be kind of careful not to get involved in every single thing that comes across your emails, because I know I could be on webinars all day, every day, because there is a lot of good information out there. And I think, as Astoria mentioned, being intentional about what you need to learn, what new skills you want. And sometimes it is just a matter of, let's take a cooking class, to, like, as Preston said, to get your mind into something else, or how can that you eat more healthily? How can you cook something different? But for me, I know I've taken lots of different things about things I'm looking to do in my business, with the webinars and training and things that I'm looking to do. How can I get better with technology? In this day and age, everybody's using Zoom, but now what's the next thing? Because Zoom has been around for a while and it's getting used a lot. We're on GoToMeeting. What other tools can you use to sell your packages? James is doing water sports. He might want to do webinars about water sports, as he mentioned. A lot of Bermudians maybe forget about what we have available right here. So maybe there's some things that can be done that you can use technology to remind people, as the story has mentioned as well, remind people about what you do, and give them little teasers, do some little free things, and then let them know. And you can get the fullness of this when you come to the store, when you come to the shop, or order online. So there's a lot of good information out there, and I think it's a matter of it is a good time to use the question, I think, was what training have you done, learning new skills, or enhancing the skills that you have, or how can you enhance your businesses? You're looking to do everything. It's, as James mentioned, reducing your staff size. You do need to look at, well, now what do I need to learn that my staff might have been doing, or how can I do it more efficiently with technology?
The other thing, what I found very big advantage of all the downtime was lots of research. You say our tourism industry has been altered, and I find it fascinating to try and figure out what is the future customer, what is the future visitor. It's not going to be quite the same, and the more research you can do in advance, the more prepared you are for the future. And to say that, I mean, we don't sell products per se, we sell services and experiences. And so, yeah, we're always curious as to who our customer is, where they're coming from. And yeah, that's the biggest question mark than ever on that question right now. Mm-hmm. So spent a lot of time looking at what other countries are doing, a lot of travel publications, industry publications. There's lots and lots of information out there. I'm sure everybody knows, but that's what I've spent a few months doing.
No, that's great. I think we've had some really good insight to how you guys are dealing with it. Now, before we go on, I just wanted to just check with Dennis once again to see if there are any more questions from the audience, because we know we're conscious of time. Dennis, is there anything else that anyone wants to ask?
No, that's it for the question side, but I do just want to quickly say thank you to you guys for coming. And Ray, that's it.
Okay. Now, before we go on, Dante, do you have the picture for the flyer for the MSME Day? Because I definitely needed to do a quick highlight on what that is.
Yes, we do. Here we go. Do you see that?
Okay. So for those that aren't aware, this Saturday, June 27th, is International MSME Day. So MSME stands for micro, small, medium-sized enterprise. Basically, that's what we do in Bermuda. That covers all businesses from the pop-up vendor tent right on through to the brick and mortars, to those that have larger businesses. In Bermuda, there are very few businesses that are bigger than medium-sized. So that covers probably about 90+% of the businesses in Bermuda. So we definitely want to acknowledge MSME Day, and to do that, BEDC is doing a campaign where if you go to a shop and you take a picture, you share that picture with us on Instagram, and then you win yourself the opportunity of not only supporting that business, but also to win yourself $500 in the process. So basically, for those that are listening, encourage people who come into your shop to take a shot, share that shop, and they can win $500. And what we've done to incentivize is to make sure that whoever wins that, and we'll do a draw on Saturday afternoon at, I believe it's 5 o'clock. When we do that draw, the winning shot, and it will be done at random, so it is a bit of a lottery. So the winning shot will then not only win $500, but the store which they purchased at will also win $500. So it's an incentive to not only encourage people to shop in your stores, but to also make sure that the businesses also benefit and are encouraged. So we want you to, if you haven't seen this flyer yet, we have it online. Reach out to us at BEDC if you need to. But it's a very simple process. It includes any retail service, restaurant, personal care, local experience, any business that you feel that you want to shop at and support, and do so between now and Saturday. So basically, the polls are open. You can go online at www.bedc.bm to view the details. And I believe there's an Instagram page, which is
BEDC Bermuda.
BEDC Bermuda. Thank you, Dennis. And on Saturday, in addition to that, we're also going to have, we've partnered with Danielle Painter, who runs the NABAP. She has also been working with the Choose Bermuda campaign. So all of those guys are on board to basically go out and interview a number of businesses that we're going to be doing on a live tune-in show at BEDC BDA. So basically, throughout the afternoon from 11 o'clock until I believe it's 4 o'clock, that we'll have her doing interviews throughout the island, mostly through Hamilton, but we also have our officers in the EEZs. So we'll have Dennis, who's going to be in St. George's, Dante, who's going to be in Northeast Hamilton, and Andrea, who's going to be in Somerset, interviewing some of the area businesses there as well. So tune on in, see what we're offering, encourage people to shop and support local businesses. So we thank you all for joining us this morning. We look forward to more of these seminars. This is the first of a series that we're creating. So we just know it was time to touch base with our EEZ businesses and make sure they're informed to pivot. And as we unfortunately have to add that we don't think we're out of this anytime soon. So I think it's going to be that much more important to seek as much information as you can about your business, how to do research towards what's next, and then how to basically get out of this the best we can. So again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our guests, presenters. Thanks for coming out. Thank you, Joyce, Astoria, Preston, and of course, James. And we look forward to seeing you continue to thrive in the year ahead. Until
Thank you
then,
for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Great
much.
day, guys.
Have a good day, everyone.
Okay, Ray, thanks.
take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.